Hey guys, single issue time. Those are like the single issues from the past 2 weeks, and yeah, I will just give you some thoughts and bits on them rather quickly. Let's start with Wonder Woman number 4. It's the second installment of the Year 1 origin story. So I was a bit skeptical about having another origin story for Wonder Woman with Grant Morrison's just released like last year. Do we need to read about this again and again and again? And I have to say, it's pretty nice. It's even a bit better than the other stuff that is playing in the in the now time, in the present. So it's pretty cool. The drawings are pretty nice, and this is what really got me. Um, I get that Raka wants to have the core of the character, and he wants to nail it. It's not so much about the story and the origin, you know, bits, but about what makes this character tick, and I think he does a pretty good job. Okay, next up, 4001 AD, War Mother. It's a one shot by Valiant Comics. And it's okay. It's written by Fred Van Lente and drawn by Thomas Giorello. The art is quite nice. It has digital painting style to it, which is cool. And the story was okay. It's very much an introduction issue of a character, and I mean, there is no created by in here. This is the first time that we see War Mother, and since there is no created by, sorry, to it, I guess it's an editorial creation, and yeah, it's about a woman who's having a gun, who can speak, and who has to do stuff for her little community until she's overthinking stuff. So, do you need it? Not necessarily. Batman number 4 by Tom King. It wasn't the strongest issue yet. I felt a little bit. It felt a little bit jumpy. But it's still good. It's still well paced in general, and the art is pretty nice. I really like it. By David Finch. Well, other than that, I should. I have the feeling this will read much better in a trade than it does in single issues. But it is Batman and it is well written and well drawn, so you should probably get it. Art Ops number 10. So this is the third last issue. 2 more to go. I really enjoyed this. Even if there is basically no story and no plotting going on. And the art is not always perfect. But it is so unique and it is so weird. It's about the special operation unit that protects characters from paintings. It sounds crazy, and it is crazy, and it's a lot of fun. And like I said, it's not going anywhere story wise, but so what? I mean, if you remember Peter Milligan's and Grant Morrison's work, it's not always going straight forward or aiming at anything. It's just like, enjoying the weirdness, and I did it with Art Ops. Next up, Aquaman number 4. This feels almost like the most consistent title coming out of Rebirth. It's surprising, especially for me. I never read Aquaman before, and like I said, it feels to me like a meta commentary on multiculturalism, and it's cleverly written. Well, the drawings are okay. The coloring is pretty okay too. There is a thing that I had. Look at this here, and I've seen it all over the comic. like Aquaman has really small hands, and I don't know why this is bothering me. I guess, you know, since the whole Trump thing with the small hands, one is more attentive towards the size of hands. Whatever. It's a nice comic. Go and get it. Kill or Be Killed is the new Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips comic. You probably have read Criminal or a lot of other stuff that those guys did together. So you know it's always quality. You always get high quality stuff from those guys. And there was a lot of the previewing going on of the series. You have probably seen some art online. It's fantastic. The coloring by Elizabeth Breitweiser, again, she's also part of this team, is great. And it's about like, it's basically late coming of age about a guy who tries to find his place in society, but also in himself. And he's struggling a lot. And then something happens. And the thing that happens, I'm not that sure about if I like it or not. But the sheer quality of the, you know, of the storytelling, visually and narratively, is so good that I have to read the next issue. So mission accomplished. Paper Girls 8 is a bit all over the place. It's not the strongest issue yet, but it's one of the best covers yet, I think. It's really creepy. I guess either you're on board with Paper Girls or not. If you are, you know it's a crazy time travel story and there are a lot of hints, but no clear resolution what it's about yet. The only little problem that I have with it is we got introduced to 5 girls, all the same age, kind of similar looking, and there is no recap. Why? Why is there no recap? It would have been so nice to have a little recap and, you know, a little character list. It's so easy to do it. And, you know, every month I'm trying to remember who was who, what's happening. So it's really distracting. And I just do it. Every one of you creators out there. It's not that hard to do. All-Star Batman #1 by Scott Snyder and John Romita Jr. This was like a very... I think this is probably one of those books most people were most excited about. Not me necessarily, because I'm not a big Scott Snyder fan, I have to say, and I didn't become one after this year. It's really... the art is really cool, and especially the coloring with the art. Look at this, it's really cool. But I didn't feel the story. For me it was just random bits of stuff happening, and I of course I understand what it is about, but I don't understand why I should care about it. So it's a pass from me. Deathstroke Rebirth. This was fucking amazing. I knew it. Priest is just or Christopher Priest. He calls himself Priest again. He's just an amazing writer. This is going to be pretty awesome. It's about Deathstroke, obviously. Never read Deathstroke before because I don't care. You know, he's professional killer, and I love how he gets introduced here. I mean, it's okay if I spoil it because it's the first 2 pages, but basically, can you see it here? He just wants to beat his son. So he's a father, and the first thing that we learn about him is that he wants to beat his son. So this is how you should write a superhero nowadays. It's really cool. And very controversial, I imagine. Well paced. Everything is done right here. Please get it. It's really good. Detective Comics continues to be the X-Men comics that we don't have from Marvel right now. I think this is really, now is the time to have a good team book out there with, you know, young people who are anxious about life and deal with family matters. So it's Detective Comics, or Valiant will release Generation Zero soon, and I think you know, it's, I don't have the right English word for it, when something is missing in the market and you just get into it and you grab it and you will sell gangbusters. And I think Detective will do really good. It's the third Batman book for me this month, which is crazy. I never read Batman before, regularly at least. It's well drawn. Oh, there's so much. There is so much ads in there nowadays. It's really hard to find a splash page to show you guys. So it's a more action oriented issue, but I liked it, I enjoyed it, and I will stick with it. Well, Superwoman #1. There was kind of a leak who Superwoman is. You think you know who she is. There's a little twist. But this was written by, I think his name is Juan. No, it's Phil Jimenez or Jimenez. And this is like a new trend for artists to also write titles. We had this before when Image started. Nobody really enjoyed the writing back then. So why are we doing it again? This guy can't write, obviously. It's super wordy, it's super jumpy. I mean, you know, he just can't tell his story right. It's very crowded and boring and info dumping all the time. And I mean, the art is okay, I guess. I've seen better Jimenez art, frankly, but yeah, this was really weak, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's the Vision #10, and of course it's very good. Yeah, period. I mean, I can stop there, but just want to tell you that I always emphasize the role of Tom King in this book, and of course he's the writer. He is a pretty fantastic writer, but I mean, look at this page. This is the first page from the comic. It's a silent page, and you don't need any words. And Gabriel Walter is doing an amazing job, together with Jordi Belair, who's coloring it. The mood in this comic is so fucking creepy and so precise. You know, it's not, just doesn't happen on a page and then it goes away. It stays, and it stays after you read it with you, and it's super good. The Black Monday Murders #1 by Jonathan Hickman and Tom Cocker, who I didn't know before. Hickman, of course, everyone knows Hickman, and you know, we all know he's like this super architect guy who wants to build worlds and conspiracies and theories and things, and sometimes it gets a little bit too overwhelming, like in a Fincher movie, and this read very much like the beginning of a Fincher movie, where everything is so thought out that it's kind of lacking life. But then I went with it, and I mean, the art is super good by this new guy. I'm really pretty psyched about what he brings to this series, and yeah, it has a very cinematic feel, and yeah, Hickman can just write very well. He's just a good craftsman, and I like how he introduces the characters. They're very different from one another. This is a very rare thing in comics, where everybody normally is just talks the same and looks the same and everything. Those are real people here, and I'm eager to find out more. This was a very thick first issue for $5, but a very thick one, and I enjoyed it very much. I will be back for more. And lastly, Symmetry number 6, which is the second installment of the second arc. And it's good. I really like the art by Raphael Yanko. You know, I'm a fan. The story, it's like the middle part of something. I don't know where this is going, but I will stick with it because I trust those guys. I love the first trade. And yeah, they have 2 more issues to wrap up the second arc, and I really hope they will deliver. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for taking time. I will be back not next week, but the week after that with the rest of my collection video. Until then, have a good life. Bye bye.